So we're here for another episode I'm just moving my mic. Another episode of The Journey to Now with the wonderful Louise Green, who is a holistic business consultant and trainer. And I know Louise because she joined my WordPress Success Bootcamp, gosh, ages ago now. It's well over a year ago.
2 years in January.
2 years in January.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, and absolutely, I've seen you completely flourish in that time. So it's been really an honor to witness your journey a little bit. So let's start off with a little bit about you. Where are you based to start with, and where are you from originally?
Well, the answer is the same place. So I'm from South London, Croydon. So I started my life here, and I've come back to it having lived elsewhere. But yes, I ended up back because I worked in London for years, so it's that sort of easy access into London, and my friends were here, so I came back. So yeah,
nice and handy. Nice and handy for work. And so tell us a little bit about your journey of what led you to doing what you're doing now.
Okay, so I'm a mathematician by study, and I never ever knew what I wanted to do. So I sort of fell into this corporate world of merchandising, which I did enjoy, but I knew really it wasn't what I was meant to do. And then through having a family, I went through. So I was in 2010. I became pregnant with twins, and then sadly one of them died the day before he was due to be born, which obviously completely changed my life because it was completely unexpected and not at all what I thought was going to happen, and not at all what I was planning for. So that at that point, I was like, right, okay, how am I going to heal from from what's happened to me? And my survival was 6 weeks premature, so he was fighting to survive. He had his own battle to sort of survive because he couldn't breathe or feed for himself when he was first born. So obviously I went through this massive trauma, and as part of my sort of healing from that, I sort of lent on my yoga, and I sort of discovered that actually it was that holistic sort of therapy was what was going to help me heal and help me sort of rebuild my life and sort of discover what my, what the rest of my life was going to unfold. And I had my daughter sort of 2 years later, and then she herself nearly died because she got bronchitis when she was a month old and spent a week in intensive care. And watching her sort of go through the same process that my survivor had been through just brought all the memories back up that I'd kind of sort of half processed and not really processed. So at that point, I got PTSD, and then went and found a sort of holistic therapist who just helped me make sense of it all and helped me kind of almost sort of reprogram some of the way I thought about things and all the triggers that happened. And then probably about 18 months after that point, I was at a yoga workshop, and I just had this massive inspired action of like, I know what I want to do. I want to use the skills that I have to help all these people that help me, just help more people, because they'd literally, 2 or 3 women that I'd met had literally saved my life because I was in such a, the lowest point of my life thinking, why? And then they helped me understand almost a why and have sort of come up with this reason as to actually this is why it all happened, so that I wouldn't go back to my corporate life and I would actually do something I actually really wanted to do. So
it's such an amazing story and such an amazing journey, and you can see how that transformation in you must have come about. When you're so between your twin being born and your daughter being born, did you go back to work at all?
No. I took her extended maternity leave, and I thought, having twins, I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to go back to this sort of night. It was a full-on job. It wasn't just 9 to 5. Working in retail is really demanding. And after it happened, I thought, I haven't gone through all this. I was really ill after it, and I thought, I haven't gone through this to go back to work, so I just didn't. And I was just coping with, a prem baby and, so I never went back to work. I never went back to it at all. So
yeah, but it's good that you had that space to then kind of heal between your children. So I mean, it's an amazing story, and it's really interesting how that led to what you're doing now. So tell me a little bit about what it means to be a holistic business consultant.
Right. So what I tend to sort of work with people is I work with them on things like sort of paid advertising. So I teach people how to do Google ads and Facebook ads. I spend a lot of time sort of showing some of my tech know-how. So I help people with their websites and linking their websites up to various other programs and sort of things like that. And then I also help them with kind of this online marketing, because what I sort of have found is that, say, like my yoga teacher, who was the first person I worked for, they just didn't understand how to operate online. They understood how to market themselves in the local area, but actually the nuts and bolts of, if making social media work for you, or, sort of there's some of the more technical side of, the SEO side of it and getting yourself visible on Google and why it was important. And they just didn't have someone with that mindset. So actually, I love looking at all the numbers. So I'd say, okay, do you know how many people have visited our pregnancy yoga page this month? And they'd be like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And it was telling them all of that made them realise actually the demand for their business was there, because when I started working with them, they were really struggling to make any money. And I was like, look, the demand is there. It's about the process behind it, because we made it very complicated when you book with us. So I worked with them for 2 years, and 2 years later, the business was doubled in size, and she was making money. And then I thought, right, I can use this for other people, because I knew that I'd learned as I'd gone along, and I knew that I could obviously share that information better in a more effective way with more people. So
it's really interesting, because things like yoga studios are typically pretty savvy about bringing people in on their local network. But then when that market is saturated, they need to look elsewhere. And online marketing is not their forte, because why would it be? There's no reason for them to know how to do any of that stuff. So for them, someone like you, who loves all the analytical stuff that most people hate, you're just like a complete shooting star in their life that just arrives and lands to help them gain more clients and fill up their studios. So I think that's great. I think it's great that you found that niche, and that you know exactly who it is that you're able to help. And so do you work with anybody? Are you geographically based, or will you work with anybody anywhere?
No, once I sort of decided I wanted to sort of not work with this yoga studio all the time and work with other people, my first new club was in Florida. So I work with people all over the world. So, and that's the beauty of it all, because it's all online, and you've obviously got the technology like what we're using now, and you've got Zoom. I just screen share with people, so I can show them over the computer, and I can watch them like a Facebook ad or something, and I can just talk them through and say, right, go here, do this. And I do some in person, but I do a lot of it online, so which makes it really easy. So I generally work with well-being practitioners. So anyone in that kind of, I could help anybody, but my passion is to help all those people that help me.
Yeah.
And I know that there's obviously a whole, that market is growing, and lots more people can realise that actually these sort of, they can talk and heal themselves without taking medication necessarily. So
yeah. And are you still doing yoga?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yes.
Are you? Yeah. So what else do you do when you're not crunching numbers and doing all your Google ad stuff? What kind of stuff do you do in your free time?
Well, I had an inspiration at the beginning of this year to become a Beaver Scout leader. So
I forgot that you do that. I bet that takes up some time.
Well, do you know, of course, the thing that I love doing, we have an online system to help to do all the admin. So I'm like the expert in the Scout group doing that. I've been teaching them how to use Google My Business and why it's so important. But I really enjoy it, and I think it takes me out of my comfort zone, because if I can stand in front of 28 6 to 8 year olds and they can listen to me and follow my instructions, then I can teach a group of adults how to tech, because they're a good ground to practice on. So
it's really funny. My husband said to me last night, I think that you should teach in schools. I think you should teach web design in schools. I'm like, no. I can't. I could not teach kids. So I really admire you. I'm like, I don't have the patience for working with children. My own. I love my kids dearly, but they challenge me. So I think someone else's kids I would really, really struggle with. How old are your children now?
They're 9 and 7.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nice ages. Yeah.
Yeah. So my daughter's one of the beavers at the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Fabulous.
enjoy that.
So, okay, back to business stuff. Well, actually, it doesn't need to be business related. If you had one book that you could recommend for someone to read, what would it be?
So the book that really got me to sort of think, actually, if I don't do something about what I want to do with my life now, when am I ever going to do it? Was Playing Big by Tara Moore. I think that's how you pronounce her
What's
surname.
it called?
Playing Big.
Oh, okay. I haven't read that.
Okay, so it's a book about, as women, sort of a lot of these limiting beliefs that we carry around with ourselves. And I knew I had some, and then I read the book and I was like, oh, okay, I've got a lot more than that. And it really made me realize actually how I was, stopping myself from doing things. And then I think not long after that, and there's lots of exercises in there that gets you to actually do things to sort of identify what those limiting beliefs and mindset things that you can change. I then decided, right, I'm going to be brave. And if an opportunity came up and I thought no, yes, I'm going to do that. And it was sort of that kind of inspired me to think, actually, I don't want to limit myself. So
yeah, that's brilliant. I'll have to check that one out. I haven't come across it before.
Yeah.
So well, fabulous. So I love your journey because it's very compelling, and there's also a clear path. Obviously it's been a painful journey for you, but it's a very definite path that's led you to where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that from the trauma that you've blossomed into something that might not ever otherwise have come about. So I think it's really interesting when you think you might still have been in merchandising, or you might have stayed doing what you were doing, which may have been really fulfilling for you, but what you're doing now, I guess you enjoy it more.
Yeah, I was ready to leave. When you've been in something for sort of 12, I think I was there for 12 years at Debenhams, and when you feel like you're just in Groundhog Day and you're going round and round in circles, I was like, I need to go.
It's time to move on. Yeah.
And I love the fact that I can see so easily the difference I make. Whereas when you're in a big business, you get lost in amongst 100 other people that all have little bits of the success of business. Whereas when I can see directly the results, I'm like, right, that's what I do. That's why I do it.
Yeah. Fabulous. So is there anything else that I should have asked and I haven't asked you?
No, because the thing I was going to mention was my Beaver Scout leader thing. So.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I love when you do that. I really admire people who can do stuff like that. So my husband is, sorry, not my husband, my brother is a scout leader, and I have huge admiration for him doing that. And also, I know it's a real commitment of time, but it's just something that I don't feel like I could do. So I really take my hat off to people who have the capability and the patience to be able to do that as well.
Yeah, I'm encouraging them they're getting more flexible, because I have to put boundaries in. It's like I can't do everything, and I'm not going to do everything. I can commit to doing it, the evening tonight and the planning and everything else. But there's always these other things. It's like, no, I can't do that fundraiser. No, I can't do that. And it's a lesson for me in putting those boundaries up that you need in your work to say, no, can't do that one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can take over your life, like anything will.
So, if you want to find out more about what you do, where can they find you online?
So my website is louisejgreen.com.
Obviously, your fabulous website.
Fabulous website, yes, with all the wonderful tuition I had and show me how to make it. I still sometimes look and think, how did I manage to create something like that? And I have a Facebook group that I started recently, which is called How to Turn Your Passion and Purpose into Prosperity, which is really what it's all about. So, and I've had a challenge in there, a marketing challenge there in October and things. So I'm sort of growing that as time goes by and adding in different pieces into there. So
fabulous. All right. Well, if you send me through the link, then I'll post it with the video. But it's been lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today, and enjoy your beavers evening. Is it tonight?
Yes, tonight. Yeah.
All right. Lovely to speak to you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.